Hi everyone, it's Karli Reese and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be extremely crazy and just letting you guys know some triggering topics might be brought up throughout this video. But basically today I'm going to be telling the story of my stalker slash crazy super fan. So this girl slash stalker was involved in my life about 5 years ago when I was in about like 8th grade and freshman year. This whole thing lasted for about like a year and a half. And I honestly don't know why it took me so long to make a video about this. I feel like around the time when this had happened, I was always planning on making a video about it, but I kind of just wanted to wait until like she completely left me alone for like a long enough amount of time that I knew if I made this video, she wouldn't come back. And I feel like because it's been so long, I honestly forgot about it, and the other day someone had asked me a question that kind of like resurfaced all these memories in my mind. And when I talked about it in one of my videos, all of you guys were begging me to do this story time, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So shall we just get right into the video? And just letting you guys know, I'm not going to be using any real names. We're going to give the stalker a code name as well as all my friends involved in the story. So around the end of 8th grade year, me, my mom, and my friend Emily are all sitting in the car together, and Emily is going through her DMs to find a DM from my stalker. The stalker's name is Rachel, by the way. So in these DMs Rachel sent, she is using extreme profanity, she's being extremely rude, she's attacking me as well as my friend Emily. That kind of caused me to go look at my DMs too, and she had been DMing me as well. So I decided to leave it alone, but my friend Emily decided to respond to her. And ever since that day, when Emily responded to Rachel, Rachel didn't leave me alone for about a year and a half to 2 years. So I believe that situation is kind of where like things escalated, because she realized reaching out to the people who are surrounded by me would get her closer and closer to getting to me. I feel like Rachel quickly learned from that experience that if she reached out to my friends, it would be a step closer into getting to me, and that is exactly what happened. So after that day, things slowly started to get worse. So at this point, Rachel would not leave Emily alone. She kept texting her every single day. So finally I stepped in and was like, listen, you gotta leave my friend alone, girl. Like, you're being a little rude and this is a little crazy. So while me and Rachel are DMing back and forth, this is when I decide to take a look at her profile, and that is when I see that several people from my school are actually following her and she is following them back. So that really threw me off, because I was like, why are people from my school following this crazy like super fangirl? Like, it just made no sense to me. And over time that started to make sense when people from my school actually started reaching out to me about this girl. So come to find out that Rachel is DMing people from my school, telling them that she is friends with me. We've been long distance friends for like a very long time, and that she is transferring to our school district and she's going to be a new incoming freshman, and that she is just looking to find some friends. So a lot of people from my school definitely fell for this. I feel like at some point there was like 30 to 40 people from my school like following this girl, but often there was also people from my school who were like sending me screenshots of like the stuff this girl was saying, and they were like, who is this? Why is she texting me? And it even got to the point where people's Finstas were following her, which if you guys don't know what a Finsta is, it's like a very personal, like private Instagram that you keep very private, only for your friends. So the fact that people were allowing Rachel to like follow their Finsta must mean that they were like establishing a friendship or something like that. So this was obviously driving me crazy. I mean, like, there's a girl going around like talking to everyone, like saying she knows me, that we're like BFFs and all this stuff. Like, it was really bothering me. So I like reached out to her and I was like, listen, Rachel, like, you gotta stop. Like, you can't do this anymore. And me continuously feeding into it and giving her attention only made things worse and worse and worse. So she just kept going with her crap, and I swear that Rachel was like the topic of my everyday life for such a long time. But we haven't even gotten to like the bad stuff yet. Like, this is just the beginning. So her following and talking to people at my school went on for like a very long time. So eventually I kind of put my foot down to Rachel, and she kind of gave me like an ultimatum. She told me that the only way she will stop talking to the people at my school is if me and her become friends and I talk to her every single day. So me being a stupid 14-year-old, I took the deal and I texted this girl every single day for like probably 6 months. Like, I don't even know, but you have no idea like how exhausting that process was. It was just terrible, like having to act like I liked this girl. It honestly got to the point where it felt like a toxic relationship. Like, I would find out she was texting people from my school and I would be like, Rachel, I'm done talking to you, and then she would apologize and then we'd text again. Like, it was ridiculous. I was being like blackmailed by this girl like so terribly. But as time went on and more people started to know who she was, she started doing the craziest, weirdest stuff, which I'm about to tell you. I don't specifically remember like the order of these things happening or when exactly they happened, but I just know they happened and I'm just going to tell you as they are. I even wrote some of it down in my phone to help me remember since there's so much. So I'll start with the more minimal things and I'll continuously get worse. So here comes another friend into the story. Her name is Melissa. She's friends with Codenames, by the way. Some of you may know them. They were in my videos like a long time ago around that time period, but I just don't feel comfortable sharing their names. So you can make assumptions, but I'm not going to tell you exactly who they are because I didn't ask for like their consent to talk about this. But basically, Melissa and I were like best friends at the time and Rachel knew this. So Rachel made a Finsta with Melissa's name and Melissa's photos and once again got a bunch of people from our school to follow it. So I'm the type of person who doesn't make assumptions until I have proof. And even though I was 99% sure that Rachel made this Finsta, I needed proof. So I don't remember exactly how we did this, but somehow like we were looking up IP addresses and doing like all this crazy stuff, and eventually we found the email that was attached to the Finsta, and surprise, Rachel's name was on it. So I like texted her and I was like, girl, I'm done talking to you again. Like, you are psychotic, like you keep pushing things farther and farther, like I can't talk to you, so I block her. And that is when everything got so much worse. So at this point, I'm a freshman in high school, and some way how Rachel obtains my school schedule. She figures out who my Spanish teacher is, she looks my Spanish teacher up on Facebook, she takes all of her photos, makes an Instagram, puts me and one of my friends' name on it, claiming that it's a hate page for my Spanish teacher. This is a different friend from Melissa, by the way. This is Jessica. There's so many people involved in this story. So on this Instagram page, my Spanish teacher is the profile picture, and under the page there are a bunch of photos of like her and her family that Rachel somehow found. Like, I don't even get how she did this. That's how crazy she is. But most importantly, the name in the bio description is Karli and Jessica hate page. Like, are you serious? So at this point, I'm like freaking out because people from my school are like starting to find this account. And I'm just like a young freshman. Like, I'm not trying to get expelled from my school for something I didn't do. And especially I was just so worried because like Jessica was getting dragged into this too. And I just felt so bad. Like, this was my problem and so many other people have to deal with it. And eventually I just felt like a terrible person because I felt like I was just ruining everyone's lives. Because Rachel was becoming so well known at school and decided to mess with my teachers, my father had to call the school and basically explain this entire situation to them, which within itself is embarrassing. Like, how do you call the school and explain like, so my 14-year-old daughter's a YouTuber and this crazy girl's like trying to ruin her life? At this point, I just felt like my high school like experience and reputation was just like over. Like, I was just so embarrassed. Like, not only do I have to deal with this super crazy girl every single day, but now my entire like high school faculty knows that I'm a YouTuber and thinks that like I'm psychotic or something. So that was pretty embarrassing, but it was more embarrassing when I just had to like continue going to that Spanish class, like knowing that my teacher knows and knowing that I know and just having to act like nothing happened. Pretty awkward. So just letting everyone know, from this point on, triggering topics are going to be discussed. So the last two friends that are going to get introduced to this story are Miley and Taylor. So at this point, Rachel basically loses her freaking mind. She started texting Miley and Taylor every single day, saying and doing some crazy things. One of these things includes sending photos of her unclothed downstairs private parts, which this girl was my age. So this girl was 14 years old. So those actions were like very much illegal. I mean, like, we're all underage and you like can't do that, you know? Nor did they like want that. Like, she put them through that for like no reason. Like, why did you do that? I forgot to mention, she also sent these same photos to Jessica as well. So sorry, Jessica, that you had to go through that. But Miley ended up telling her mom about these photos, and her mom actually called the police. So next thing you know, I'm like chilling in my bedroom, probably doing homework, scrolling through TikTok, whatever I'm doing. The cops knock on my front door and ask to see me. I don't really know exactly how the conversation went down. Like, I don't know if my dad said like, no, you can't speak to my daughter, but my dad basically explained the situation yet to another person in my town. The cop was pretty understanding. I'm pretty sure he was a friend of my dad, so he just left and that was that. So you think it would stop there, but it didn't. She told Taylor and Miley a very, very detailed plan of what her and her father were going to do to me, which is like so disgusting and honestly traumatizing for me because I was like so young and I was so scared. But basically her plan was she was going to move to my town, she was going to attend my school, she was going to make friends with me and friends with a bunch of my friends. She planned to get me to stay the night at her house one night, and while I was sleeping, her and her father were going to sexually assault me and basically murder me. Obviously, there was a lot more details into that, but basically they were planning on like cutting up my body and stuff. And I'm pretty sure she also said she was gonna sell like my organs on eBay or something. So yeah, a little bit crazy. I honestly wish I still had like messages and stuff saved from this because I know so much more happened than like I can even remember. Like I have nothing on my phone about this situation because after it was over I just wiped everything because it's honestly something that I would be okay with forgetting. So after she made her little plan known, I was kind of like freaking out inside. And at this point, me and her are still in contact, but not in like a friendly matter anymore. More of just kind of like me saying like leave me alone and Rachel saying like I'm coming to get you. She had her snap map on for me and she was always like bouncing around from place to place, and now that I'm older, like I don't necessarily know if that was like different sex traffickers like logging into like the same Snapchat account, or if she was just using like the technologies that you can use to like make your location appear in like a different place, you know? So I don't even exactly know about all that, but she'd go from like Guatemala to Nicaragua to Texas. Like she was all over countries. Like, so I was definitely scared because if she can bounce from country to country, like she can fly to my town. She also did like anything she could to scare me. Like sometimes her location would be at like the airport, or she'd even send me like photos at the airport and stuff, like saying like I'm on my way to you. So I was really terrified. At this point, like regarding legal actions, we were like so limited in just not understanding of like what options we had, because how can you get a restraining order against a 14-year-old girl when you don't even know if it's a 14-year-old girl and she hasn't even been anywhere near you? I'm pretty certain that my dad even talked to like the police officer about like what actions we could take, but there really was nothing. So basically for like the remainder of this whole situation, like I just had to like be aware of my surroundings and just constantly live in fear. I personally know that it was her that I was talking to because through Snapchat she would send me like voice audios, and I can't remember if she was like German or Spanish, but like the way she talked English was really hard to understand. And she even had a YouTube channel, by the way, which in her YouTube videos she would speak in a different language, and throughout those videos you would randomly hear my name, which was really scary because this girl was talking about me and I had no idea what she was saying because she's speaking in a different language. So God knows what she said. I also forgot to mention this, but it just got to the point where she wasn't only involved with like people at my school, she was also like reaching out to my dance friends as well, which literally don't even live in the same state as me. That shows you how much this girl knew about my life and every single person involved in it. I honestly don't think anyone has ever known anything about me more than Rachel.
What are you doing?
So I feel like that about wraps the story. Like I said, there's definitely some information in some incidents that I'm missing because this was like over 5 years ago now, and my memory is just not that strong of this, especially because it's something that I've tried so hard at blocking out for such a long time now. I feel like my biggest fear always with filming this video is that it's giving her more attention, and I'm just always going to be terrified of her coming back. Before I actually filmed this video, I looked up her Instagram. I do still have her blocked, so hopefully she won't see anything about it. But her Instagram still exists. It's still very much active, which is also why I believe that she was who she said she was. There might definitely be more to the story behind the scenes that I don't even know about, but I like to just pretend that there isn't, and it was just a young 14-year-old girl who genuinely can't do anything to me. But even if Rachel is watching this, I feel like if she did come back into my life like right now, things would be a lot different. Like obviously I'm much older and I don't care. Like I feel like a lot of my care from this situation was that just like I just got into high school, like I was just trying to focus on like my high school experiences, and I felt like she was ruining all of that. Like at the time I really liked to keep like my life and YouTube so separate from like who I was at school, and I feel like she wasn't really giving me that option very much. But yeah, definitely if she like came into my life now, I feel like me and especially everyone around me just simply wouldn't care. Like, we wouldn't give her the attention that she's looking for. And I feel like if the situation happened now, maybe things wouldn't have gotten to the point that they got to like 5 years ago. So I'm definitely thankful that all of this is just over and I can now like finally talk about it on social media, because it was such a major part of my life, especially within social media. And it feels nice that I can now finally share this special story with you guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!